we're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, coming to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, as we're talking about young leaders that are learning the skills, the knowledge, the passion, and the willingness to be able to give to a climate, to a world that's changing at a very rapid rate. Talking about climate change, water, sanitation, healthcare, education, and basic infrastructure of roads and ports and all these other things that are needed. And yet at the same time, the planet is taking care now of 7 billion souls, and there are to be maybe another 2 billion, almost 9 billion people on the planet by 2050. So many people are saying we just don't have the resources, there's no way to take care of these number of people. But at the same time, there are many that are saying, yes, we have the intellectual property, we have the technologies, and we just need to learn how to cope because the people are coming, whether we're ready or not. And so one of the young professionals who's here joining me, representing the country of Italy, is Laura Gagliardone. And she has experience working with the United Nations, traveled and worked extensively in Kenya, and is now working with the Emerald Planet in the United States. So Laura, you're just traveling all over the globe.
Well, I would love that.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're already doing it. So not love it, you're doing it. So looking at what have you been doing as far as the United Nations and some other organizations over these past few years?
Yes, I've been working for some United Nations agencies, specifically for the Food and Agriculture Organization and for the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Also, I've been working for other non-profit organizations, for example, the Twins International. I've been working mainly in research, communication, monitoring, evaluation, program planning, development, and coordination.
Now that's a very long title. Let's break that down a little bit. That's a long string of words.
Yeah.
So let's try that again. So we're doing monitoring, we're doing evaluation.
Two main sectors, basically research and communication and monitoring evaluation.
Okay, so we have two different areas there that
exactly.
we're working on. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've been working on food security and agricultural projects and also global developmental programs. Also related to good governance and environmental protection.
Well, looking at this, we had a chance to look at the downtown of Nairobi in Kenya, and then also going out to some of these new towns, as they call it, in that area that have the challenges of sanitation and other issues. But at the same time, these are very thriving communities that you have in Kenya and other developing nations around the globe.
Yes, my experience in Kenya has been very interesting, and I've been living in an orphanage with locals and with about 60 children aged from 7 years to 14. I was there to conduct an evaluation of the educational programs carried on in the lowest income areas of Nairobi, so the so-called slums, Kariobangi and Korogocho to mention the most important ones.
Well, you're a very tall young lady, but looking at the individuals here from Kenya, you have the Maasai, which are very tall individuals, and having been in Kenya myself, this is a very dynamic, vibrant society.
Yes,
right there. So looking at the people there, what types of things can be learned from these very traditional cultures that are actually now transitioning into the 21st century from a Western point of view, but yet are taking very close care of their traditional culture, medicines, health care, and nutrition?
Yes, Kenya is a country which is actually moving from being a low-income country to a middle-income country. And over the past years, the government and also international developmental organizations have actually invested a lot in good governance, transparency, environmental protection, and food security. Kenya is a country where there are lots of tribes, and I've been in contact with Kikuyu, Luo, and also Maasai, and they are very different from each other. They are very proud of their traditions and their own culture. But it's fascinating to learn how they actually use their herbs, or for example, they have a very strong connection with the nature. And they can, in a certain way, for example, with a few ingredients, combine these ingredients and cook different recipes. Basic recipes, but actually very nutritionally quite correct.
Yeah, and using the local herbs and
Exactly.
vegetables and fruits in the area. And I know if you look at this lady here, it's actually sorting
Yeah.
through the rice that they actually grow, but yet you see all around them is these fantastic vegetables that
Yeah.
they're going to be using. And having traveled throughout Kenya, it's amazing what they can do with very simple ingredients
Yeah.
and local produce, and yet it's extremely nutritious.
Yes, and also I was impressed, through interviewing women and also, let's say, people who were taking care of the orphans and in the communities, about their knowledge about carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins. So since I've been working on food security and nutrition projects, I would take as a good example and good practices, especially the recipes in the coast. Because along the coast, in Mombasa, Malindi, for example, the women combine bananas with carrots as well as rice or vegetables. They put all together and they prepare quite nutritionally correct meals.
Yeah, well, looking at the infrastructure that you have, and this is the challenge of any society that's rapidly urbanizing. As you know, Laura, from your travel, almost 54% of the world's population now are living in urban areas, and there are some developing nations where it's actually over 80%.
Yeah.
And so Kenya is rapidly urbanizing, but it's just like having this water pump in these new towns, as we'll be calling them. It's very important to have access to that, but at the same time balance that with sanitation.
Yeah.
So that you have good water, but also a way to take care of the waste within those areas.
Yes, because Kenya is an African country, and as you know, in sub-Saharan Africa, the water is a major issue, and access to clean water is very, very important. So, implementing projects regarding pumps or water pumps, or for example, irrigation or improving infrastructure is fundamental for Kenya, but also for other sub-Saharan countries.
Yeah, looking at this too, the whole thing of people being able to grow their own vegetables and to be able to bring together these very nutritious meals that you were just talking about. It's really interesting that in Kenya, as well as the United States and most nations, is the whole thing of actually grow your own fruits and vegetables and proteins locally, and then use that as a new movement towards green jobs within the society.
Yeah, you remind me a project which I've been working on when I was working for the Food and Agriculture Organization, and it was called school gardening. So basically, it was an educational project to enhance children's participation to grow and to, in a certain way, learn about different vegetables, different vitamins and tomatoes and potatoes, and while having fun, they were learning scientific concepts.
Yeah, and I know that this is something that education is something that's very near and dear to the heart of all the politicians and the elders within the society, but also with the young people themselves. There just seems to be this thirst for knowledge, thirst for information, and a way that they can actually integrate their culture, society, traditional and otherwise, into the greater world community.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And education in Kenya is very, very important, and they are bilingual. They speak both English and Kiswahili. And I've been interviewing children and also their families in the lowest income areas, so in Korogocho and Kariobangi. And I've been positively impressed by the importance they give education. And they perfectly know that education can drive their lives and hopefully let them have a better future, maybe get a better job. And knowledge drives, let's say, good action and responsibility and accountability.
Well, looking at the children we have here with the uniforms and the actual real sacrifice that parents make for their children to be able to go to school, and as you're talking about being bilingual, yeah, and the local languages and also in English. And with the various tribal areas, most of these people are not bilingual, they're trilingual or quadlingual, yes, because they know true. All the local languages within the areas. Looking at the children that you're working with in the orphanages, what kind of new opportunities are they gaining through this type of experience is going to help them to move forward in a positive way as we go in the 21st century?
Well, they gain the opportunity to learn about through a new system. So basically, the educational system in Kenya actually is trying to move from a more mnemonic system to a more creative way. So my contribution there was like trying to make the children think with their own brain and develop ideas and write about environmental protection, the importance of food security, or maybe also social and developmental issues.
Well, thank you very much, Laura, for being with us, and thanks to everyone out there that's watching the Emerald Planet. And we're going to be exiting out as we look at actually all the information, the credits that we have for that. And thank you for sharing these slides and being with us as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.